years of 0 and then 16 we rose with the chip on our shoulder that everyone knows. I stand with the faithful, the loud and the loyal on Michigan soil where the battle lines coil. I pledge allegiance to the shield and the mane through the lake effect snow and the November rain. One nation under God, moving the chains with the fire of the city coursing through our veins. Hey! Invisible spirit, upon them will crack. We got the whole league's targets on our back. Watch the war room flicker, watch the vision take hold, turning late round flyers into Detroit gold. He's the master of the board, the dealer of the deck, putting every expert opinion in check. Put every expert opinion in check. He doesn't follow trends, he creates the hook. Quiet in the room, let Brad cook.
All right, so Dan Campbell's going to be on here very shortly with a Sunday afternoon update. I'll be bringing him in here momentarily. Like I said, I'm just sitting here working, getting some things done before I go to camp the next few days. And what the hell? Let's watch Dan. See who joins. And yeah, we'll be rolling here in a minute.
Justice for the years of pain. No more same old lions, just the kings of the northern reign. I pledge my allegiance, my heart and my roar to the team that we love and the team we adore. With kneecaps for breakfast and victory in sight, we're the Detroit Lions and we're winning tonight.
Well, this guy's been everywhere tonight. What a play by Jack Campbell. Jack Campbell. Bam! Meets him right there, runs his feet. Jack Campbell who wraps him up. Doesn't get any better than that. That is textbook linebacker play. What the f*** I'm talking about?
All right, what's happening, everybody? Happy Sunday, man. Hope you all having a wonderful Sunday afternoon. Like I said, I was just sitting here doing some work, trying to get some things ready for next week. Continue on getting ahead. And I forgot that Dan was going to have a podium appearance today, so I figured, hey, why not? Let's just see what happens. See if we can get anybody in. It's a nice day out for a lot of people, so a lot of people probably outside hanging out, doing man things or doing kid things. One of the two. I mean, it seems like that's what it's all about for us adults. Barbecues, lawnmowers, chores, and the lake. Right? That's about it. And football. Now the football is back. It's football. We got football on almost every weekend now. Almost every day, it seems like football's on. So anyway, he should be popping up here soon. And when he gets in, we'll... They just changed it till tomorrow. They just canceled it. You got to be kidding me. I think they just canceled it. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on here. See, I know we have practice tomorrow. We have practice Monday. We have practice Wednesday. We have tickets for all of those. Yeah, it is Saturday. I'm sorry. See, I thought it was Sunday. I'm already thinking of tomorrow, J-Rod. Don't they have practice today? I'm almost positive they do. off on Friday. I know there's no open practice today. Okay. So there you go. I mean, I guess that's the answer. No wonder why there's no press conference. It's not open today. So whether they're doing stuff in-house or not, they don't have an open practice. For the media, I mean, not for public. We know when the public's supposed to be there. But anyway, kind of cool. Loyals Lions members this week. We've got a couple of cool practices. So Monday night, we have a night practice. I'll be there. At least the plan is to be there. I was going to go to tomorrow. Don't know if I'm going tomorrow. Megan was going to come with me, but I'm trying to see what her schedule is to see if maybe she can go Wednesday. And that way we can do more stuff. She can see more stuff anyway. So Monday night practice, man, there's not many times we get an opportunity to have a Monday night practice or any night practice, period. And so those are fun. And I think I've been to one night practice so far. Those are absolutely a blast. I mean, it's not really night because it's not under the lights, but it's a late afternoon practice. Let's just put it that way. It's like 5 o'clock or something like that. But I'm interested in to see, how these guys respond and I guess kind of where they go from here. Well, I guess she's out on Wednesday. She's got to work on Wednesday. Well, I guess I'm going tomorrow. If I don't go tomorrow, she don't go. And if she don't go, she can be mad. She'll be mad at me. She's such a giant Lions fan. It's so funny that she never liked sports. Like, she was never into sports ever. And over the last 9 years, she's become a giant Lions fan to the point now where, like, when she's at work, she's got to know how to get it on her phone and always wearing stuff, always wearing the Lions gear, always planning ahead for Lions stuff now. It's awesome, man, when you have someone you can share that stuff with. It makes it all that much more fun. Well, I guess this right here, we might as well just screw around a little bit, pull some information, have some conversations. We went through the 53 the other day. Pretty tough to get down to where I think things are going to settle, and it's early. Damn, my eyes are bugging me. The biggest thing that I think came out of Thursday, and I know a lot of you may or may not agree with me, and that's okay. That's what this is all about too, is I think Ahmed Hassanin is going to push for Derek Moore's job. Got to remember, Dan and Brad do not care where you were selected. And I think right now, putting Ahmed Hassanin up the depth chart, one, it makes a lot of sense because I think he's earned it, or he's earning it. He just has to continue stacking days, right? Has to continue stacking Kirby's.
Stacking.
And if he does, I think it only makes sense because why would you want to rush, or even not rush, but force Derek Moore to come back and get him into the picture right away when you already have Ahmed Hassanin and Derek Moore? I mean, they're kind of like very similar body types, very similar style of play. So I think that he's going to end up pushing for Derek Moore's role, and then you may see Derek Moore. He's supposed to be coming back this week, but you might see Derek Moore take a backseat approach and just learn a little bit more. Doesn't mean he won't play. Doesn't mean he won't get in the game, but I think it would be a smart move that they give Ahmed Hassanin first crack. And that's the thing that I love about, the way that they built this roster, having multiple, tier 2 guys and guys that can make this depth chart what it should be, deep, a depth chart. And I think Ahmed's pushing for it right now. I think he's really done a hell of a job. And the thing that a lot of people were talking on Twitter, as always, it's the most toxic universe in the world, that Ahmed's sacks against Joe Burrow were meaningless because it was preseason. There's a difference between going up against first team and going up against second, third, and fourth string. Okay, because I'm gonna take that complaint on its face and I'm gonna twist it around on you. Does that mean? And I'm not saying any of you, just whoever these people were that were talking this crap. And I don't even know why you talk crap about your own players like that. You know what I mean? Like, why do fans do that? Why are they just so angry that maybe they got it wrong, that Ahmed Hassanin might be a good player? Isn't it funny that, we really appreciated Ahmed Hassanin in the struggle and the work ethic. I mean, everything that he has put in, always supported the guy from day one. And then you got that other group that just all they do is trash the guy. Oh my God, it's a Brad Holmes wasted pick and developmental pick and all this. And it's like they don't understand, like, every single one of these players is going to take a moment to find their moment. And after 3 years, if that moment hasn't come, then it's time to say, okay, enough's enough. And more often than not, Brad gets it right, because by the third year, those players usually excel. So I just found it really odd and funny at the same time, that people are talking crap about Ahmed like that. And so I said, okay, well, think about it this way. If preseason is worthless for sacks against first team, then what do all the sacks mean for Aiden Hutchinson against all the third and fourth stringers that he went up against in live games? And then you know what they do? They shut right up. They got nothing else to say, because it makes sense what I just said. If you're going to say a preseason game against the number one squad, even though it's a vanilla defense and a vanilla offense, I get it. They still are having to do one job and one job only on the offensive defensive line. The offensive line needs to stop you, and the defensive line needs to get in. That doesn't change. The only thing that a vanilla playbook does is it doesn't open up your offensive schemes. That doesn't mean the blocking assignments change. It doesn't mean that, the running back and the wide receivers aren't still trying to make a play. Doesn't mean that the quarterback's not trying to make a play. It just means you're not going to show all the elaborate motions and all the other trickery and things that you're trying to do in season. So I found it interesting, like I said. So then that means that every single time that Aiden went up against a second, third, or a third or fourth string guy, well, then those sacks were meaningless. They didn't count, right? It was too easy. It was too easy. And I know there's probably been at least a dozen sacks that have come that way, at least, against some pretty, Justin Skewell was one of them. What was that other? There was a couple of games. There was just about any game he had more than 2 sacks in. Those games he was going up against a lot of backup guys, second or third backup guys. And it wasn't just one side of the offense. Some of those games he had multiple players out too. So anyway, I think it shut him up really quick. That then they realized, oh yeah, well, now we're talking crap about Aiden, so I can't do that. Can't do that. That's not allowed. That's not allowed. Let me just double check this one more time. There is no press conference. So we did a post game, right? So we already talked about what happened after the post game, but I guess I'm a little bit interested still to hear what you guys thought about the players that played a lot of snaps that really showed up in that game. Where does Nick Whiteside belong? I'm gonna shut this down. There's nothing happening over there. What do you guys think? Attila says Moore is a pass rush. What is that? PRS? What is PRS? Speed rusher. Ahmed is a big end. Not really. Not really. Moore's not really a speed end. And if we look at the depth chart, it's definitely not built that way. So you have DJ Wanham, who's a speed end by nature, and they got him on the opposite of Aiden right now. You have Tyler Lacey, who's a big end. They have him on the side of DJ Wanham. On the other side, they have Derek Moore behind Aiden Hutchinson. And then it's kind of like they're going back and forth. It's like they have speed, power, some speed and power, and then they go speed, power, speed, length, and power. So they've got a really good mix with all the guys that they have in there. But Derek Moore is not just speed. That dude's he's a power rusher, man. He uses his strength more often than he doesn't. More so than he uses speed around the end. Does that make sense? We should do some film review. We'll have to do it on the other channel. He's Derek Moore, 6'3", 260. 6'3", 260. And then at Michigan, he was listed at, I think, 6'4", 255, somewhere in that range. He lost an inch when he came to the NFL. Lost an inch. Kind of funny, isn't it? What's his 40 time? Or I guess what's his average sack ratio? Or average time to sack? God, I can't think. How many sacks did Moore even have at U of M? (2025) 41 pressures, 10 sacks, and 12 starts. A 17.5% pressure rate. Hold on. So they have him listed as a big end. Oh, that's crazy. I've never seen this happen before, y'all. I just looked it up. I just said, is Derek Moore a speed or a big end? And you won't believe this. It says Derek Moore's profile as a prototype big end. And then it lists my website, Detroit Football Journal, multiple times. That's insane. I've never seen that. We making the list. We're breaking out. Hold on. I got to show you that. That's kind of cool. I have never seen my website listed, and it is so hard to get in the top, of any sports site or any Google or any browser. Come on, where's the there it is. Look at that, y'all. Oh, we're listed. Bang, bang, bang. Right there. If I go up a little bit further, I'm listed up at the top too. Right there. Detroit Football Journal. Detroit Football Journal. That's cool. Look who we're listed with. Detroit Lions. I'm ahead of the Detroit Lions. That's crazy. ESPN. Click on Detroit. There's Detroit Football Journal there too. Look at that. We're making it. We making it. That's pretty exciting. That just made my whole day. It's made my whole day. So anyway, I think that the point that I was trying to make, Attila, is that I think he's flexible. He's flexible. He has really good versatility. It's just maybe that pass rush bag isn't as developed yet, and I think that's what they're going to use him for mostly is the big end, set the edge, and Dan Campbell talks about it all the time. That Derek can really set a good edge and help control that run game, and so I'm really excited about it. Honestly, once these guys get healthy. Was there a hold on a sec. Was there an actual? Was there a press conference, Attila? Where are you getting these updates? Oh, they are having a press conference. What the hell? I should probably have been looking at the chat the whole time. Hold on. We're going back. I don't know how they can have difficulty. I mean, I've had difficulty with YouTube, but I go and schedule things. Yeah, it still says 8:16 at 10 a.m. I'll go and schedule things like legit. I will go and schedule a live stream. I'll get completely done with it. You fill in the title, you fill in your keywords, you fill in all your crap, put in your thumbnail. Screens, you go to multiple screens, you get to the final one, you select the time, you schedule it, and it says, oops, and it crashes every time. And I don't know why. So if I reuse an old, like I always reuse my old live stream schedule because it has all the tags, it has all my things saved, it has everything that I need. All I have to do is change the thumb, change the title, and a couple of little things. Something's wrong with YouTube. Something's really wrong with YouTube. And I can't even reach out to them. I can't even go into my back end and reach out to support right now. Like it doesn't even give me the option. So where are you seeing those updates though? Are they coming out of I haven't seen yours yet. Trace. Are they coming out of X? I don't have X open. Yeah, so all right. Thanks, Trace. Trace has sent me this update that per Jeremy Reisman, obviously he's in the room. Dan Campbell says Derek Moore, DJ Reed, Sione Vaki should be working their way back today in practice. So they do have practice today. So I don't know what the confusion is then. But last week, as you guys heard me report, I already heard that Derek Moore was on his way back this week. The fact that they're back out there today, that's early. That's way early. So really, really, really good news. Let's see. Rakestraw, according to Pride of Detroit, was in the locker room after the game, wasn't wearing a brace. Oh, that was from the other night. Sorry. Did they put up a video at least? They didn't even put up the video. Nothing. All right. Well, I guess we just won't worry about the press conference. If it shows up and if I'm still available, then we'll recap it. But for right now, we can just kind of go through whatever. I'll pull some rabbits out of the hat real quick. Let me go into my Lions coverage area and see what they're talking about. Pride of Detroit. So he's got some takeaways here. And this was as of today. So let's just go to Jeremy Reisman's real quick. I don't know why it's not keeping my windows in there. Here's his takeaways. This will help us get a little intelligent here. According to Jeremy Reisman, here are the main takeaways from Dan Campbell on Saturday. Thought the O-line play was relatively good. Said Borum and Miller held things down. Praised Mahogany for being a force, but he needs to improve his consistency. Juice, Small, Moore, Reed, Vaki appear to be ready to return to practice. McGoughlin plays low, quick, sharp, and he's strong at the second level, but his size makes anchoring extra tough. But thought he was strong on Thursday. I don't know how to interpret that. I don't know why he says it would be tough. Unless he's light, unless he doesn't weigh enough. Because he's 6'4". He has short arms. I mean, he's a perfect center. Like, centers don't need long arms. I'll come back to that. Abney showed up versus the Bengals, but he needs to work through some of the special teams things, particularly as a jammer. I assume the ST is special teams things. Rakestraw had some decent reps and didn't deserve the blame on the 3rd and long. There was a MA, missed assignment, that's MA, and he didn't have the underneath help that he should have. Very high praise for Chris Smith. Talked about how selfless he is and how he just shows up and does what is largely a thankless job. Wide receiver praise. Tay Martin showed up, as did Tariq Black. Cedric Wilson got the most praise as the trusted veteran who does everything. Said game plan communication went well with Petsy. All right. I expected that. That's a big win for Petsy and a big win for the offense. And a big win for those 3 receivers. So as you guys know, Cedric Wilson, he's high on my list. He's high on my list to make it this year. It's going to be a very tough room to make, simply because there's so many bodies in there. You probably have a 3-way race right now, 3-legged race. You have Martin, Black, and Wilson. I think that's your 3-legged race going into the final cut days, if the Lions are even going to keep a 6th, right? Or maybe Dominic Lovett gets edged out and they replace, the top of that room, and then Lovett reverts back to practice squad this year. So that could be a real opportunity there. If we take a look at what I had on the depth chart, let's go to that real quick, and then I'll come back to the chat question statements, and we'll come back and talk about Seth McLaughlin too. I think I know what he's saying about Seth. I think I get it. I guess I really didn't notice it before, but it makes kind of glaring sense now. All right, here we go. All right, on the screen right now, we have the depth chart. I was going through the other day and kind of weeding my guys out after the first game. Let's go right to the offense. So on offense, if you look at this wide receiver room, you got J-Mo there. I'm on here. I'll just highlight him a different color, make it a little easier to see. We'll put him in purple. How's that? Oh, Vikings colors. Why not? I had Cedric Wilson making it. I have Greg Dortch making it. I had Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Clearly. Isaac Tesla, Cedric Wilson, Greg Dortch, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. I had Dominic Lovett and Tariq Black in this mustard color as players that I don't know where they fit yet. Because unless the Lions keep 6, going to be really, 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 really tough for the Lions to keep a 6th, especially with this defensive line that they've established. And then if you go to the bottom, Tay Martin, I had him scratched right now. Now, look, I know that he showed up and had a good play, but then there was also, a couple other things that went on in that game that I didn't see good blocking. And then you also had the one play where there was the push off. So, there's things that they need to clean up, right? But it was only week 1, and that's all this is. This is just a reflection of week 1. Week 2 preseason, this could change again, and more than likely it will. So, those are the players that I'm looking at making it right now, and I had 23 on offense and 25 on defense. That's 48. I had 51 with special teams. And so I left 2 positions open right now. And those 2 positions could be reserved for players like Skylar Gill-Howard, Anthony Lucas, Ennis Rakestraw, Trevor Nowaski, Amon O, because Amon O really showed up in that first week. That veteran ability that he had. Eric Hunter. So there's still time, there's still room. But on the offense, I feel like we're going to keep less. Like, I think 23 is probably the max. If you stretched it to 24, I would be surprised. And I think if you stretch it to 24, that means that the Lions are probably going to keep an extra offensive lineman. Again, it all breaks down to...
Well, this guy's been
Oops.
everywhere tonight.
Hold on
Play by
one
Jack
sec.
Campbell. Jack Campbell. Bam! Meets him right there, runs his feet. Jack Campbell who wraps him up. Doesn't get any better than that. That is textbook linebacker play. What the f*** I'm talking about?
My bad. Hit the wrong button. It all boils down to who helps this team later. How do they really feel about the offensive line at the very beginning? Mahogany. You know, we can't see Mahogany struggle. If Mahogany struggles at all, then we are even less sure about the offensive line with Cade Mays out. Give these guys a couple of weeks, and we'll see. We'll see how they develop. Anyway, we'll see how they develop. Let's talk about Seth McLaughlin for a minute. I think I know what he's talking about here. Why it's difficult for him to maybe anchor. And he said his size. Well, he's not talking about his height, right? He's talking about, come on, go back. He's talking about his weight. He's only 304 pounds. And I say only, but look, I mean, I was 262 pounds on July 3rd. It's the most I've ever been in my life not working out, trying to get big. And I've lost, quite a bit of weight since then, over 20 pounds now. I still have at least another 20 pounds to go. So if I was only 40 pounds away from that guy, I mean, it doesn't look the same, right? I mean, I don't look like I'm 260 or 300 pounds, but that's just not a lot of weight, to be a center, taking on nose tackles that are, 325, 345, 355 pounds. You need to be stocky. You need to have heavy legs. You need to have some weight on you. So centers that are a little bit lower to the ground, 6'1", stocky, short legs, those guys tend to play a little bit better. Frank Ragnow was like the anomaly. Now, there's been plenty of big centers, but Frank was a tank. And I mean, he played with immense strength, but he was 6'5". And he was usually around 315. So he was even taller and even stretched out a little bit more, and that weight was even longer on his body, The difference was he had really long arms for a center. He had 33 and a half inch arms. Good wingspan, big hands. So where he lost his ability at times, as an anchor, he used strength. And I don't remember Frank losing a whole lot, to be honest with you. So it's just different. It's different for each guy. But I think what he's speaking to is the weight. Probably want to get Seth up to like 315, 320 then. Have him add some weight. I wonder what Juice Scruggs is packing right now. See, he's a little bit bigger, man. A lot bigger. He's more Frank size. He's 6'3", 320 with 33 and a quarter inch arms and 10 and a quarter inch hands. So wet, snowy balls, he's got big hands, man. He's not going to have a bad snap, or he shouldn't. Long arms, he'll be able to set and reach. And then that weight at 320 at 6'3", he'll be able to squat and sit down and anchor. So I'm kind of excited, man, to see Juice Scruggs get out there next week and see what he can't do. Obviously, he's going to be our center, more than likely. Seth McLaughlin will compete for a spot, and so will Neese. But I'm not overly excited about either one of them. I mean, I'm excited about McLaughlin, but, as a former center, played a lot of snaps. That excites me for his future. But is he ready right now? Probably not. Probably not. Yeah, Cade Mays is a tank too. J-Rod, he's massive. And I think to each their own, right? Like Cade, 6'6", 325. Is that what you put in there? Yeah, 6'6", 325. He also has giant arms, 34 and an eighth inch arms, 10-inch hands. So very, very similar to Frank as far as long arms, big hands. He's even bigger than Frank. He's bigger by weight. His arm length is bigger. His hands are big. Everything's bigger on Cade Mays. It all boils down to experience, leverage, understanding, your body type. If you understand leverage, you can beat out a lot of guys just even being smaller, just using leverage. I think Frank knew his math, man. He knew it. And I haven't seen anything with Cade as far as him losing a whole lot. I mentioned this the other day. Blake, during the game, was kind of skating a little bit on top of the turf. He wasn't getting down. He wasn't anchoring as good as kind of what they're talking about with Seth McLaughlin. So that's an interesting thing to watch, over the next couple of weeks. How do they reset his pad level? Because I thought that he was pretty high. I thought that he was pretty high at times. Doesn't mean that he gave up anything. He didn't. He didn't give up a whole lot. But he can play a lot better. And Cade Seth not even Seth, my bad. Blake, in 3 years, in his third year, he's going to be head and shoulders different than what he is today. He's going to be very much more polished. So he just takes a little bit of time. It was his first game out there. I'm not that worried about it. I think he's going to be all right. I think he's going to be all right. Brent Lighton, there's a name I haven't seen in a long time, man. How you doing? 2 years on the carnivore diet, huh? Yeah, I'm kind of on the same thing, dude. Like I have 3 protein drinks a day, 44 grams of protein powder, and skim milk. So that's about 52-ish grams of protein right there. 3 of those a day. Sometimes 4. And then depending on what I add to it, like sometimes I add some other stuff to it that has protein, or I'll add yogurt to it that adds protein. And then I usually do steak every day. Steak, broccoli, chicken, broccoli, pork, broccoli, or green beans. And then a whole crap load of vitamins. And it works. And I don't feel terrible. Lord McQuaig, there's a name I haven't seen in a minute, man. Welcome into the season, brother. Couldn't find a 40 on more at edge. Position is big in terms of containment. Hosseini has excellent player position awareness, excellent reads. His first sack was a prime example. That first sack, so I don't know why I didn't get a lot of views on my Hosseini video. And then for some reason, some other things got unlisted. I'm telling you, something's wrong with YouTube. Things are just getting randomly unlisted more so than I want it to be. And I went in and kind of broke down everything that happened on that Hosseini sack. We'll transition spots real quick here. We'll go to the defense. Hosseini on that loop around stunt, it looked like a called play. It looked like Joe Bocci was on a delay and he delayed. And so when Risner or Reisner, whatever you want to call him, I call him Reisner. I don't know why. It's probably Risner. Came out to meet Hosseini. They bumped real quick. And then as soon as they were connecting, Bocci started to come up. And that is when Hosseini jumped back. Bocci then came up and then slid to the left. Risner followed him. And then Hosseini went to the right and started to loop in. And when he looped in, that's when Risner looked over like, oh, shit. Let the guy go. And so then he tried to get in to get Hosseini. And it was too late. Hosseini's too quick. The guy can move. And he had a clear path, man. He had a clear channel all the way to Burrow. So I think it was a call play. I'm almost positive just looking at And that's the other thing, that if you go back and look at that play, you know what? Here. What the hell? We'll just show it. I'm going to have to trim it out, but I'll show it. I promise you I will get it figured out this year for film review, because I know how important it is and how fun it is. I just doing it on this channel is not the brightest thing in the world. Let me see if I can find my overlay. I'll be right back.
Every day, thousands of people are discovering Uper Lights, Michigan's newest, funnest rock to go find on the shores of the Great Lakes. Don't go out with just any light. Try the Convoy C8 from uperlights.com. It's guaranteed for life, and you'll find all the ones everyone else misses. Quality UV lights that are perfect for Uper Lights, with prices starting as low as $20. Please make sure to visit uperlights.com for all your UV flashlight needs, with the best guarantees on the market. Just what you wanted and not what you didn't. The best quality, the best guarantees, and the best UV flashlights from uperlights.com.
I know this overlay is in here somewhere.
Middle caught inside the 5. Jameer Gibbs to the end zone.
Here we go. I think I got it now.
Lions. 14 yards on the strike. Goff to Gibbs. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
Maybe this is a post-Bengals game
No, this
question,
is not
but
today's.
you said Kirby Joseph would be reevaluated.
That was not today's. All right, let me throw this up here, and let me get the overlay working. Not that it's even going to work, because it usually doesn't, and this may screw everything up to where you guys can't see it, and then it's pointless. So yeah, it's going to be pointless. It's just going to get in the way. All right, screw it. Get rid of the overlay. All right, let's check out Haas on this play, man. So let me zoom in on these guys. I'm gonna stop, start, do the thing. All right, so I don't have my writing utensils with me, but Hassanin is right now lined up on the left inside shoulder of Risner. So Risner is the right guard. Hassanin is lined up on the inside shoulder of the right guard. All right, here we go. Okay, ball snapped. Look how low Haas is staying. Bocce's staying in place. All right, they make contact, but look at that first move there by, who is that? Gosh, I can't see the number. Who's lined up over center? That's what I can't figure out. Who's lined up over center? It looks like Smith. Why did I think I thought Chris Smith was white? He's not white. I'm an idiot. I thought he was. He's not, though. That's Chris Smith. All right, so Chris Smith is lined up over center. Hassanin's to his left. So Chris Smith takes that first angle in. So he's going to cross the face of the center, right? And so he's going to interrupt what Risner's trying to do, right? Gets a little hit on Risner right there on that inside shoulder. Bang, turns him around. Haas bounces back. Bocce starts to come up now. And then Bocce comes in front. You see that move? You see how he settled down in his stance? So Bocce came up and then squatted and sat right down and shields Ahmed Hassanin, who's doing a loop around stunt. That is what made this whole play happen. But look at everybody. Damn, I wish I had my marker. Look at Clark. Remember how I told you we were going to see some free rushers and some corner blitzes? Look at Clark. He's a safety. He's all the way up. He's all the way up. So that's going to pull everybody away. That's Chuck Clark. 91, just to the left of him. That's not 91. That's 61, I think. That's Anthony Lucas. Inside of him is, I think that's Wingo. So there's 3. If you go to the top on the other side here, that's 4, 5. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 8 guys. You have 8 guys down there fighting to get to Joe. And then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They have 8 guys staying home. Plus Joe, that's 9. That means there's only 2 guys out there. So you have the running back who's behind, and you have 2 receivers. And then you have the tight end that's down here on Clark. I mean, just beautiful work. So you can start to see where this hole is going to open up. It's going to open up right between Wingo and Lucas. Or I'm sorry, left of Wingo. So he loops around, and he's going to go around the left side of Wingo, right there, right between them. It's kind of, you got to really pay attention to it. Left side of Lucas between Wingo. Right there. Bang. You see him get in right there? Wide open. Nice work, man. What a great play. Let's go back. All right, where's everybody at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, this play doesn't work if your DBs are not able to cover. But I'm telling you right here, by Joe, that was a very smart play executed perfectly by Joe Bacci. Executed perfectly because he's going to pull away. And look, he's going to take the running back right there. You see how he picks up the running back? What great work, man. That is sound defense. And if that's what we're looking forward to this year, oh my, am I excited. And that's just, look, that's just a regular play. But they executed it with a bunch of no names. Really, really good stuff there. Yeah, Brent, you told me that, brother. Going back, man. I remember when you sent me that message. We had a really rough week, couple of weeks, including you. So I'm glad to see you back around, man. I'm glad that she's doing okay, all things considered. I'm glad you're doing okay. Hopefully, you always got a spot here, man. Good community here. We're gonna have some fun this season. So I wish you nothing but the best, man. I really do. And your mom. So anyway, good stuff from the Lions. Good stuff from the Lions defense. And that was early. That was real early in this game. And then watching Hasani not even know how to celebrate. He just couldn't believe it. He was so emotional. He couldn't believe it. The one thing that I noticed, though, is immediately when this play was over, what I loved about Clark, because I'm watching this play finish right now, what I love about Clark is he is such a pro's pro. He immediately gets out of that whole thing, and he goes right back to the middle of the defense, starts putting his hand up and getting the play, right? Trying to figure out what's going on, trying to get everybody ready to go. And so no celebration. He just wants to go to work. I think you guys are going to love Clark this year. I really do. He's such a pros pro, like I said earlier. I'm excited to see him work. All right, let me move off of that. See if they ever updated their site to give us a... No, they screwed it up. No press conference. All right, we'll go through some of my notes here, some of the news rumors of the day, and then we'll get out of here probably in 15, 20 minutes or so. Obviously the 16-14 loss against the Bengals, I think that it again, we don't care about the loss, right? We don't care about that. But what did it do for the players that played in that game? And I think that there was a lot of movement, but the biggest movement really occurred on that defensive front. Number one, Ahmed Hassanin has gone from developmental depth to a legit rotational candidate now, pushing for Derek Moore's spot. Yeah, I think is where he's pushing. At a minimum, Ahmed Hassanin is going to be the fourth defensive end, I think, on this roster. At a minimum. And that's even tough considering DJ Wanham, Aiden Hutchinson, Derek Moore, Tyler Lacey, who you can't ignore, and then Ahmed Hassanin. So Lions have to keep 5. They don't have a choice. They have to keep 5. I don't see how it works any other way. I really don't. Jacob Sailors was another big bright spot of the evening on Thursday night. He really strengthened that grip on the final running back position. And look, as long as Vaki gets back and stays healthy, which hopefully he does, and hopefully the Lions, clearly they don't have the plan just to kind of sit him. They're going to have to keep 4 there too. And so now I've got 8 guys or 13 guys. I'm sorry. You have 9 guys that are already probably set on this roster. Given the next couple of weeks, see what happens. I think that Nick Whiteside, outstanding training camp, and is turned that into production in the preseason game. He's going to lock up in this roster. Skylar Gill Howard continued to build a case, even though it's been kind of a late camp, a little bit of a delayed reaction for him. He's getting it. And I think the more you pepper that guy, the more intelligent he's going to get and the better he's going to get. Just heard a loud ass noise, and I don't know where it came from. Now, latest reports is that the Lions might be adding a running back. Did you guys hear this? Or they already did add the running back, excuse me. Happened yesterday. I don't know much about Travion Williams. And I'm wondering if I missed an injury because we signed another running back. I missed this whole thing. But it was Jabari Small that I guess they're expecting he's going to miss some time. And it looks like Sailors is going to miss some time. So he exited the game after that long run, and he came up limping a little bit. So it's a camp body, at least for right now. And that really hurts, man, because we need to get our running backs healthy. Pacheco hopefully coming back today is great news. Obviously, you want to... I'm sorry, not Pacheco. Pacheco wasn't on the list, was he? No, not Pacheco. Sione Vaki, excuse me. Sione Vaki getting back into the mix is great news because with Pacheco out, Obviously, we can't just leave Gibbs back there as the only guy running the ball. So I don't know much about Travion Williams. I'll try to dig into him as I can later on today. I'm trying to get out a few pieces of content later, and we'll just see where my day goes. But what else is on the list today? Eric O'Neal. So there's a few people that have been in the chat that have been very vocal about Eric O'Neal. And he's an undrafted edge. He played 38 defensive snaps against the Bengals on Thursday night. And according to some reports, generated at least 3 pressures. Now, the pressures in this game, when you get later into the game, I'm not as excited about. I'm more excited about technique and how these players actually play. How do they fit into the scheme? How do they execute? The pressures don't matter a whole lot to me because, again, I'm not going to say like Ahmed Hassani's sack didn't matter, but that did because it came against the first team. But later on, when you're going up against guys that just don't have a lot of time in the NFL, don't have a lot of time in the system, you're going to have some more breakdowns. And so I got to go through and find his film. I haven't come across it yet. So I'm going to dig into him and see what I can see, and I'll get you guys a report next week. Just talk about Nick Whiteside for a moment, because even though he was limited as far as production, like how many passes did Nick Whiteside have against him? And even though I hate using PFF, I've got to use PFF for this, just for today, and maybe a couple more days until I can get the other one up and running. But get used to it anyway. Let's take a look at the Lions PFF grades. There are some really, really, really good grades in there. Again, not saying that they're correct. Oh, come on. There we go. Let's start with the defense. I mean, really good grade for Ahmed Hassani here, 89.9. Slide that over. Terrible tackling grade, though. Terrible tackling grade. Again, I'd have to watch the full film to really justify it. But what I really like right here is all of these numbers right here. Look at this. Amon O, 77.8. Roger McCreary, 75.8. Eric Hunter, 78.8. Nick Whiteside, 72.8. Eric O'Neal, 73. Thomas Harper, 79.9. Keith Abney, 80.7. Trevor Nowoski, 79.4. Chuck Clark, 77.2. Even Ben Still was up in the upper range. Miles Adams, 70.1. Khalil Dorsey, 80.3. Devin White. Here, let me just go the other way with it. Look at all those green numbers for tackling. You know what that tells me? And again, it's just one game. It's just one game. It's a preseason game. It doesn't mean everything. But you know what that tells me? The Lions have some players that can tackle. That's what it tells me. It tells me that they've been working on the tackling drills that maybe Ennis Rakestraw missed a couple of days. Because Rakestraw definitely can't tackle like that ever again. That's how you get hurt, clearly. Now, a couple of concerning names on here. Christian Izian and Tyler Lacey didn't register. Bocce didn't register. Levi Enrique, Tyree West, they didn't register a tackle or a missed tackle. But only 5 really bad grades. But Ahmed Hassanin, he produced everywhere else. So he must have had some missed tackles, is what I'm gathering. Let's go find out. I hate their site. It is so dumb that I have to scroll up and down just to be able to move just to move it. It is so stupid. I should be able to use my mouse to be able to go back and forth. Oy, oy, oy. Still not low enough. All right, so week 1. He had 1 missed tackle, 1 assist, 1 tackle, 1 missed. I don't understand how that goes. How do you get a 44.3 when you had 2 sacks, 2 hits, a hurry, a tackle, an assisted tackle, and a missed tackle? Okay, so you had 3 opportunities, and you got a 33.3%. How does your tackle rate go all the way down to a 44.3? That's what I don't understand about PFF. It just does not make any sense to me. The sacks don't matter. There was tackles on those. This doesn't make any sense. None. But anyway, good game for him. Good game for him. Who else really stood out in this game? Overall defense, Ahmed was the highest graded defender. I mean, the top of this roster, when you look at who's possibly going to make this roster, Ahmed Hassanin, Roger McCreary, Nick Whiteside, Thomas Harper, Keith Abney, Trevor Nowaski, Chuck Clark, Khalil Dorsey. I mean, the numbers really drop right around after the top 10, but good grades. And then as far as tackling grades, I mean, really, 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 again, really solid grades in the tackling department. All the way down to the top 20, top 18. That's pretty solid. That's pretty solid. Let's look at some of the coverage work here. Let's go to the positional work. Ooh, let's go to pass. Oh no, they don't have the receivers. Let's go to coverage grades. Oh, I really want to do it by team. All right, here we go. Here's your coverage grades for the game. Roger McCreary, even though he has not shown up in practice, 86.3 in this game is pretty damn good. Amin O. I mean, was he really in coverage that much? Look at that. 6 times he was in coverage. He was targeted twice, 2 receptions. Right here. 5 yards. Yeah, God, I hate their site. It's just ridiculous. Nick Whiteside, 75.6. He was in coverage 20 opportunities. He was targeted one time, no receptions. Average depth of target was 37 yards. That's good. Thomas Harper, I mean, decent for the first night out, right? He was in coverage 24 times. One target, no receptions. So Christian Izian did not have a great night in tackling, but a fairly decent night in coverage. One target, one catch, 7 yards on the reception. The A-dot was minus 2 yards. So that means that ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage. So you're giving him credit for the reception, but you can't defend behind the line of scrimmage. All right, let's go to the worst of the worst. I mean, Rakestraw had a rough night. He was targeted 5 times, 4 catches, 44 yards, 8 yards a yak. A-dot was 9.8. This is the number that I really gravitate to right here, the NFL number. So this is your passer rating against. Eric Hunter, Lauren Strickland, Devin White, and Ennis Rakestraw and Christian Izian were your worst 5 of the night. Eric Hunter had the worst grade of the night, 122.9. So what that means in a nutshell is when a quarterback targets you, what's the likelihood of that pass being completed? Well, this is like 122.9% is kind of what it comes out to be. It's not a direct correlation that way, but the higher the number, the worse it is. So if we go look at the guys that we're interested in this year, Nick Whiteside, really low. Thomas Harper, really low. I mean, that's as low as it gets. Roger McCreary, Chuck Clark, a dead 0. Keith Abney, 79.6. I mean, really, really low numbers for those guys. So I'm ecstatic by those numbers. Let's go to pass rush. Where's that at? All right, how many pressures did we get? 12 pressures on the night. That's not terrible. That's not terrible. 1 sack. Why is there only 1 sack listed? Am I an idiot? Didn't they just credit him with 2 sacks before? Or are they only counting it, in pass rush? I don't understand. He has 1 sack here, but he has 2 sacks on the other sheet. He has 2 sacks here. But he has 1 sack. Oh, now there's 2. What in the world? You guys saw that, didn't you? Let's go back. Okay. Well, it's updated now. And we have 19 pressures now. What just happened? Did I just hit some different dimension here? I mean, y'all saw that, right? We can go back and look at the video. Am I doing something stupid? Did I click a wrong button? I went to pass rush, and it said he had 1 sack, and it said we had 12 pressures. Hold on. Unexpected error. Go figure. All right, let's look at pass block real quick. All right, so pass block. Good numbers by these guys. Christian Mahogany, 85.2. Michael Neese, 79.6. Robichaud, some good work behind the line of scrimmage. Jacob Sailors, good work behind the line of scrimmage. Jackson Meeks, decent work. Conklin, decent work. Blake Miller's pass pro was okay, but it looks to be one of the best numbers of the night. Larry Borum, a bit concerning. And what's weird is your head coach comes out and says, I really wasn't worried about Miller or Borum during the game. So how does this make sense? Why is the number so low? He was in pass block 24 times. He allowed 0 sacks, 0 hits, 1 hurry, and 1 pressure. And that's a grade of a 26.9. Blake Miller was in pass pro 24 times. And he allowed 0 sacks, 0 hits, and 2 hurries. And he has a higher grade of 68.6. I feel like I'm just ramming my head against a wall when I read PFF. It's so frustrating. It is so frustrating. Do y'all feel the same way? I feel like I'm just ramming my head against a wall. It just doesn't make any sense. Let's look at it one more time. Borum, 0. Miller, 0. Miller, 0. Borum, 0. Miller, 2. Borum, 1. Miller, 2. That's the accumulation number. Borum, 1. Oops. Pass block. Oh, true pass sets. 8. 8. Pass block 8. Pass block 8. So their numbers are dead even. But the overall pass block number for Blake Miller is almost 3 times better than Borum's. I don't understand, man. Everything else, every single number they have is identical except for their pass block grade. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't understand. This is why I've given up. It's why I've given up on PFF. Okay. Now, normally I use Sumer Sports for some things, but it doesn't look like they're tracking preseason. And that sucks. We also have NFL Next Gen Stats. I use Next Gen Stats for a lot of other things. And I don't know if they're even tracking preseason. And they're not. I use NFL Pro for a lot of the other things. They're not tracking preseason. And who else do we have? I got the NFL GSIS, but they don't provide anything but raw stats. They don't really do any efficiencies that I've seen. All right. Well, we'll do some stats more as the season wanes on. Obviously, this is just preseason, so I'm not gonna get too crazy over it. Luke Altmaier versus Josh Dobbs. So who impressed you guys the most? And I'll be straight up. Look, I think that Luke Altmaier has a hell of an arm. I said a lot of this the other night and the other morning, but I think that Josh Dobbs just looked different when he was in there, even for the little bit amount of time that he was in there. And so I'm really excited to see him this upcoming week. I'm like legit really excited to see what he looks like. And Altmaier didn't have a bad night. Things could have been better. The beginning of that game was terrible. It was terrible for Joe, and it was terrible for Luke. The beginning weather of that game was just not conducive to, having your first game, your first steps out on the field. It was not good. So Luka obviously gets a pass, and this next week he has to get incrementally better. And then even next week, in the third game, he has to get exponentially better compared to the first game. Same thing for Dobbs, but I expect Dobbs to settle right in. Like, I think he'll have the majority of the offense in play by this next game. I'm not even sure if I'm going to the game, to be honest with you. I don't know if I'm going to do preseason this year. Just because like Eric said, I really don't want to go back and forth 15 times this week. Yeah, we did have a lot of drops. That's for sure. Rodriguez can always be the backup fullback. He's extremely strong. Oh yeah, what are we talking about? Rodrigo being a fullback? I liked Rodrigo back there at the fullback. Did we find a fullback yet? We don't need a fullback. We have one if we need one, but we don't need one. And don't get too excited, J-Rod, over the PFF stuff, man. Remember, it's PFF. Don't get too excited. Just kind of scrolling through some of my notes here to see if there's anything else I forgot to touch on. How about Devin White? I didn't really get a chance to see Devin White during the game. I didn't see him take any reps. So I'm going to try to see if I can find a replay or something on today or go back and just watch what I recorded. But I'm interested to see how he played. I'm fully confident that he's going to be great. I think that he's going to be a stud. I think the biggest thing is, we have another Jack Campbell out there, just not Jack Campbell. And I'm super excited about Jack Campbell this year, by the way, too. Like he's just a different human being than all these other guys. He's just different. He's totally different. He's quiet. And then he's just a heat-sinking missile, man. Trying to get into my other stat site to see if they have anything, and so far it's not working out in my favor. All right, here it is. Fantasy. I think we have a fantasy draft tomorrow. I will update that later on today. If you guys are members and you have not joined the fantasy group for fantasy football, tomorrow's the deadline for the member group. And then after that, I'm going to have to add somebody, and then I'm going to drop it down to a 10-person league. And the league's going to continue every year. Especially the Dynasty League. What's going on here? Why won't this let me in? Data. There's nothing in this one either. All right, let's talk about preseason for a moment. Next year, or in the next couple of years, would you be more in favor? Would you be more in favor that the NFL just completely cancels preseason? Just gets rid of it completely? I think that they should. I think they need to get rid of preseason. Now, I understand why they have preseason, because they're selling games. It's money for them. But it's kind of a waste of everyone's time and money. I mean, it's good for the coaches to kind of get a look, but they don't want to get anybody injured either. So my whole idea, and I doubt any of this will happen, but for the NFL is just get rid of preseason completely. Add an extra game, go to 18 games, and add an extra bye week. Get rid of preseason. Start week 1. You start week 1, and you know what? Or maybe you go to 19 games. Screw it. Go to 19 games and get rid of preseason. Add the extra bye week. And at the end of the day, you just got to figure it out. Like, let these teams carry extra players into the season. So if you start in September, or if you start in the last week of August and you start playing football, which they probably have to, they'd probably have to start in the first week of September or the last week of August to make it all work. And you just hit the ground running, but let these teams carry extra players maybe through the first 2 games. So it's essentially like preseason, where you're carrying extra players in case you have an injury, and you're able to get, some looks at some players. I mean, 2 extra games a year, you can have a little bit more of a cushion, I guess, by wins and losses. Everyone's going to suck in the beginning. So I don't know. I think you just got to get rid of it. I think you have to get rid of preseason. I think you have to figure out a way to just add that extra game and move forward. I think it's just a waste of everyone's time. I really do. And then that begs the question, well, should you start practicing earlier, or, should you start practicing earlier? Still trying to get into this one thing here. All right, nothing there yet either. All right, I'm going to reach out to Sports Info Solutions and figure out why I can't get in there. All right, anyway, today was just kind of a bullshit day. I was hoping to have the press conference and kind of break it down, see what happened. Really nothing happening. I'm going to just look at their site real quick and see if they posted a video or anything. I think this one is from the other day. Yeah, it is. It's old. All right, I'm going to get back to work. I got to get some videos out. It's already 3:30. I got to get some writing done and get prepared for tomorrow. Nice fun day at practice, if I even go. Sorry, we'll catch you all later. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you on later on tonight. Okay? Adios.